So if that's one of the reasons why you want to compete, you definitely should not be competing.
What's up, guys? Are you looking to compete in your first show? There are a few things that we need to go over first before you do it. Not everybody is actually ready to compete. Now, you may have met that person at the gym, or one of your friends or family members tell you, hey, you should compete. But wait a second, you have to understand that most people are not from the bodybuilding world. They do not understand the level of conditioning and muscle mass that you need in order to be competitive. So let's go over 5 reasons why you should not compete.
But before we get into our video, don't forget to subscribe and like the video. And as a thank you for subscribing, here's a video of Nala trying to eat a cup. Number 1, doing it for the money. There's literally almost no money for competing. In fact, you're gonna be losing money in your first show. From the entry fee, buying your NPC card, tanning, and if you're a woman doing the show, there's even more. There's hair, there's your bikini, heels, makeup. My girlfriend recently did a show and it was close to $6,000 just for her show. The only person that could really make a great living from bodybuilding is Mr. Olympia. In 2020, the prize money for first place was $400,000. $150,000 for second, $100,000 for third, $45,000 for fourth, and $40,000 for 5th place. This is the top of the top. 99.9999% of people who are into bodybuilding will never make it into the Olympia. And the prize money for the other classes are even lower. So you know how I just said the first place for open bodybuilding is $400,000? Well, for women, it's $50,000. And second place drops another $30K, goes to $20,000. Can you imagine being second in bikini, Miss Olympia, and winning $20,000? That's it. So if you decide to pursue a career in bodybuilding, you have to be realistic and understand there really is no money in it, except for being a sponsored athlete. So if that's one of the reasons why you want to compete, you definitely should not be competing.
Number 2, you have not been training long enough. If you have only been training for 1 to 2 years, you have not been training long enough. This is especially important for females. Now, unless you have great genetics or you're an athlete for most of your life, then you are the exception. But most people watching this, you're probably not that person. So there are a lot of girls who go and compete in their very first bikini show, and you can just tell they do not have enough muscle on them. Perhaps they've been doing the wrong exercises, have not gotten strong enough yet. So I would say, if you're a girl and you cannot squat 135 pounds for 5 reps, or hip thrust 315 pounds for 5 reps, you have not built enough muscle or strength to compete. Because in bikini, one of the top things that the judges will look at is the roundness and fullness of glutes and legs. Now for men, if you cannot do 10 pull-ups, bench press 225 pounds for 5 reps, you have not built enough muscle or strength. And these examples are of the lowest standards that you have to meet. Now, you don't need to squat, hip thrust, bench press, pull up, because there are many, many different training styles and exercises that you can do. We are just simply stating good universal strength standards. There are many pro bodybuilders that do not squat, bench, hip thrust, or pull up. They focus more on machine work, isolation exercises in order to get to that competitive level. But you can bet you can put your money on it that the pro bodybuilders can definitely squat, hip thrust, and pull up a good amount of weight. Because pro bodybuilders do not look the way that they do without being really strong. So the point is, guys, do not enter a competition if you're still a beginner lifter. Make sure that your lifts are really, really good, really strong. You have built a really good foundation for yourself, so that way when you do cut down for competition, you can reveal the hard work that you put in prior to your prep.
Number 3, you are not ready metabolically to compete. Now, this is one of the more advanced lessons that I'm gonna give you. You first need to have a basic understanding of how many calories you need to maintain your weight. If you have a history of chronic dieting and have slowed your metabolism down throughout the years, then you are not ready to compete. For example, a 115-pound, 5'3" woman who currently eats 1,200 calories to maintain her weight, she is in a horrible place to cut down for a competition. If her calories are already at 1,200 for maintenance, this means that she needs to drop her calories all the way down to 900 and even 800. And then later add in even more cardio so that her body can continue to respond. Now, if you're the same 115-pound, 5'3" woman who has not slowed down her metabolism through chronic dieting and currently eats 2,200 calories to maintain your weight, you are in a greater place to compete because now you can slash your calories down to 1,700 and continue to shred down without affecting hormone levels or further ruining your metabolism. So you have to understand and make sure that you are in a good place metabolically to actually start to lose weight. If you're not, make sure you reverse diet and build up your metabolism before you go compete.
Number 4. This is a big one, guys. You are not psychologically ready to compete yet. If you struggle with eating disorders or body dysmorphia issues, it would be best to never compete or until you have properly dealt with those problems. Doing a bodybuilding show will make you more food conscious than ever. And doing a show will always result in you looking the leanest that you've ever looked before. And trust me, anything afterwards, it's not going to be the same. You are going to look fluffier than you did on stage, and you may not like that. For example, this is my current physique. And right now, I feel a little bit out of shape. And I know it sounds negative, but this is just the reality. When you compete and you see yourself stage lean, really nothing else compares to that. This is the same scenario with Wisdom. We all think, and I think, Wisdom looks amazing, but sometimes, even if he's just a few pounds up, he feels out of shape or a little bit fluffy. Now, most people would be really happy with the level of conditioning that we're currently at. However, Wisdom and I have both seen ourselves at a much lower body fat percentage, and that can really change your perspective post-show. And so anything outside of that level of leanness, we would consider out of shape. But that's just for us. Because what we think is when we see somebody like a woman who is 15% body fat, we think, wow, she looks amazing. But maybe we don't have that same standard for ourselves. So when you compete, you have to understand that that level of conditioning that you're at on stage is not meant to be sustained, and it is not healthy.
Number 5, you're unwilling to take substances. If you want to make it big, then you would be doing the NPC IFBB shows, which is an unregulated bodybuilding federation. This means that you will be competing with people who are on PEDs, which is short for performance enhancement drugs. The Olympia, the Arnold Classic, all the biggest shows, they involve people who are on PEDs. Now, you might be thinking, you have great genetics and you got great work ethics, so you don't have to take drugs. But think about this. There are also people with great genetics, work ethics, and are also on PEDs. And PEDs, they make all the difference. Jordan and I both competed naturally in the NPC, and we did both place. However, for us to be competitive and win first in our classes, we would inevitably need to be on PEDs, which we are both unwilling to be on. Now here's a difference between the Mr. Olympia Men's Physique Show versus the INBA Men's Physique Olympia Show. Now, you're probably thinking, wow, what a difference. But that right there is the difference between a natural bodybuilder and an unnatural bodybuilder. So, if you're looking to compete in the NPC, you have to understand that you are playing on uneven fields. So, willing to take substances, that has to be a must if you want to be competitive.
All right, so that concludes it. These are the top 5 components of why you should not compete. Now keep in mind, we do not encourage people to not chase their dreams or to be afraid of stepping outside of their comfort zones. But we also condone people to be prepared, to do things for the right reasons. So make sure that before you compete, you do your research. You make sure that you've been lifting long enough. Make sure you're doing it for the right purpose. Make sure you have support at home. These are really important. So if you want to compete, make no mistake, go sign up, go get a coach, follow the diet, do the cardio, and once you start, don't look back. All right, so if you guys enjoyed this video, please give us a massive thumbs up, smash that subscribe button, comment down below so that we can continue to pour out more awesome content for you guys, and we will see you in the next one.